There are many amazing cartoons today that are enjoyed by millions. The complicated sounds, intricate pictures, and beautiful colors are the main reasons why they are so enjoyable. The cartoons that inspired all of the others were created by a man, a mouse, and a dream. Walt Disney's creation of Mickey Mouse was a huge turning point in film animation history, and Mickey is still adored today. Before Walt created Mickey, most cartoons were silent and did not have very good quality. This made some of them rather boring, which meant film animation was not very strong, but was still very popular at the time. Mickey actually had two fathers, Walt Disney and Ub Iwerks. They were both born in 1901 and met in 1918 when they both worked for Pesman Rubin Commercial Art Studio. They became close friends and in the following year opened Iwerks Disney, creating drawings for publications. The company only lasted for 3 weeks before going out of business. They both ended up working for the Kansas City Slide, which is where they learned most of what they knew about film animation. In 1922, Walt started his own animation studio called Laugh-O-Grams Film Incorporated and hired Iwerks for his most valuable artist. Unfortunately, the business went bankrupt and Iwerks went back to Kansas City Slide. Walt made his first successful business in 1923 when he moved to California to try to promote his Alice's Wonderland cartoons. It was a success and he started the Disney Brothers Cartoon Studio with his brother Roy. He also married one of his ink girls, Lillian, who would help him greatly in the future. He also rehired Iwerks to work for the studio in 1924. He continued to make Alice's Wonderland cartoons until 1927, which is when he started a new show called Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. He made 26 cartoons and they became very popular, until he faced a problem deep in his contract. On a train ride to New York, he found that the distributor, Universal Studios, had the rights to Oswald the Rabbit, and they hired away all of his animators, so he was forced to give up on Oswald and think of something himself. In early 1928, on his way back to California from New York, Walt was thinking of ideas with his wife, Lillian, and Iwerks when he got the idea that would lead him to success. He drew on a sketchpad a mouse that he said he would name Mortimer. However, his wife said that the mouse should have a cuter name, and that's when the name Mickey Mouse was created. They gave him personality and character, and they were ready to make some cartoons. When they got back, they went to the studio and after a lot of hard work, created the first Mickey Mouse cartoon, Plane Crazy, which was in sound. Sadly, the distributor would not allow them to show the cartoon, but that didn't stop them because later in 1928 they created the first revolutionary cartoon that started Mickey Mouse's career, Steamboat Willie. Steamboat Willie was different from other cartoons because it was the first cartoon to be sound synchronized, which means the hundreds of sound effects fit perfectly with the film. The sound was extremely intricate for that time, and no other cartoons had sound that complicated. Also, the funny film was enjoyed not only by kids, but many adults also. Walt continued to create cartoons until his company slowed when the Great Depression hit America. This was a very bad time for his studio, but actually made Mickey Mouse much more popular. Mickey Mouse was shown at many theaters because the upbeat, funny, and happy cartoons lifted people's spirits and kept them happy through the sad and harsh times of the Great Depression until it ended. Sadly, in 1930, Ub Iwerks left Disney to work for other distributors, so Walt and Roy got more new people and hired professionals from Charnard Art Institute to teach them. In 1932, Roy introduced Mickey Mouse merchandise including watches, toys, and stuffed animals, which was the most popular. This allowed kids to get more attached to Mickey and would also make good money to support the business. Also in 1932, Disney made one of the first colored films, Flowers and Trees. This made the cartoons even more enjoyable and it made almost all cartoons with colors from then on. However, Mickey was not put into color until 1935 in the band concert. In addition to all the other events in 1932, Walt Disney won his first Academy Award for the creation of Mickey Mouse. In 1937, Disney created the first full-length cartoon movie, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It was 84 minutes long and was in full sound and color. No other cartoon movie was released before this one, and it was an instant hit. The last, but not in the slightest least event, was in 1940 when the movie Fantasia was released, having Mickey as the lead role, the Sorcerer's Apprentice. This completely blew away other cartoon companies and was 10 years ahead of its time. The movie was 2 hours and 5 minutes long, in full color and beautiful sound. The longest movie with color and sound before it was when Disney created Snow White 3 years before. It was only 84 minutes and did not have as nice color. As said before, the other companies did not make cartoons this long until almost 10 years later. In addition to all the good news for Disney, Ub Iwerks came back to the studio where he continued working there for the rest of his life. After this, Walt's company ran amok, or as others would say, ran a Mickey. They became the #1 film animation company in the country and made over 100 of cartoon shows and movies in the next decade. After Disney's cartoons like Steamboat Willie and Fantasia, other companies began to try and make cartoons just like Disney did. Soon the quality and length of all cartoon films greatly increased to compete with Disney. Although not many of them even came close to compare with Disney, it was a true turning point in film animation. 15 years later, Disneyland opened and allowed people of all ages to experience the fun rides that included some of their favorite characters. By then, Disney became a multi-million-dollar company and created thousands of movies and opened 2 other parks in Florida and Paris. Walt Disney later said,
"During the last few years, we've ventured into a lot of different fields, and we've had the opportunity to meet and work with a lot of wonderful people. I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse."
Congratulations, Mr. Mickey Mouse. Congratulations.